Mr. Chief Justice, may it please the court, my name is Tatiana Troutman, and I will be representing the petitioner in this matter. With permission of the court, I'd like to reserve 2 minutes for a rebuttal. Ms. Andrews' actions are protected under the First Amendment for 2 reasons. 1, her tuxedo did constitute symbolic speech, and 2, she did not cause a material or substantial disruption. Ms. Andrews had in Spence, this court articulated a test for determining whether something is considered symbolic speech. It must first convey a particularized message, and second, that message must be likely to be understood by others. Ms. Andrews did convey a particularized message, which was solidarity with Amber Green. Ms. Andrews had based her whole campaign platform on Miss Green.
Speaking of her campaign platform, doesn't that take away from supporting her friend? Because it draws a lot of attention to Maria herself. She's also bringing in her uncle's business. How likely is that to make everybody, all the other students, understand what's going on with this?
Well, several students had already known about Amber Green's picture being omitted from the yearbook, and as I said, Ms. Andrews used her campaign as a way to bring awareness to Ms. Green's issue. She had based her whole platform because of Amber Green. It was inspired by Amber Green. Her flyer, which on one side, yes, does have an advertisement, only grasped the attention of the students in her school to the flyer itself, which on the other side had her campaign slogan, "See the Big Picture," inspired by Miss Green.
Explain that for me, please. How does that show that it was inspired by Amber Green? What does "See the Big Picture" mean?
Well, within 14 days of finding out Amber Green's omission from the yearbook, Miss Andrews addressed the entire student body twice, holding up a yearbook in one hand and making a speech saying, "This is a great place for most students, but I want to make it a great place for all students," resembling something Miss Green had said to her after finding out she was omitted from the yearbook for wearing a tuxedo.
Well, 2 questions. When Ms. Green said that, did she say it in front of many other people, or did she say it only to the petitioner?
The record does not indicate that,
Okay.
although it was said to Miss Andrews.
And when the yearbook was held up, did she open up the book? Did she point out the picture that was missing?
No, she did not, but that doesn't need to be indicated in order for it to be symbolic speech,
Why not?
because it just needs to convey a particularized message that is likely to be understood by others. She does have a particularized message because of the context, because Miss Green's picture was omitted only 14 days earlier before making the speech, because she wore her tuxedo for an entire week of the week of the 21st, which is the reason why Miss Green's picture was omitted for the yearbook.
But didn't
because she had
someone,
worn a tuxedo.
excuse me, Counsel, but didn't someone express a lack of understanding as to what she was doing in class when he said, "Why are you wearing a tuxedo?"
Yes, one student, Walter MacArthur, had texted her and asked, "Why are you wearing a tuxedo?"
Now, did the reverse happen? Did anyone say, "I see what you're saying and I support your message"?
No, however, no one else asked. Most students had already known about the issue because, as I said, several students had seen the yearbook.
Isn't that an assumption on your part that they didn't ask because they already knew?
No.
Why not?
Because if more students didn't know, it would have been more of a commotion. Walter MacArthur didn't say, "I'm asking because a lot of us don't understand." He said, "Why are you doing this?" He indicates that he's the only one that didn't understand. He didn't say, "I'm speaking on behalf of this many students." He's not saying, "Oh, we over here don't know what you mean." He simply just asked her, "Why are you wearing a tuxedo?" And she responded, "Isn't it obvious?" Because no one else had asked her. In the context of the school and all the way she conveyed her message, everyone was understood. And to her, it was obvious. And it confused her as to why this one student didn't get it, and most others did. Now, Ms. Andrews' actions constitute symbolic speech, and the only way for her symbolic speech to be limited is if there was a material or substantial disruption. Maria did not cause a disruption. She did not cause a material or substantial disruption. However, she did cause a minor distraction, if you will. which is when she had passed a note. When she had to pass a note back to Walter, answering, "Isn't it obvious?"
And so doesn't the school have the right to discipline someone who creates a minor distraction?
Yes. However, suspending a student for passing a note is a bit harsh. Students pass notes all the time. If we are suspending students for passing notes constantly, well, the education process would not be prosperous.
Would you concede that a minor distraction, such as passing one note, can be more of a major distraction, even if it's only one note, at a time when it's a really important time during the school year, such as, let's say, during AP testing season?
Yes. However, there was also the campaign going on during that time, which the school had scheduled. By scheduling the campaign, they were already aware that there would be commotion throughout the school. Although they had specific spots for the posters, although they had specific times for speeches, they can't make students only talk about it during certain times. If students are sitting in class, they're going to talk about it, and the teacher can only ask them not to.
Let me restate my question a different way. Would it be a minor distraction if, say, the note was passed on the last day of school, as opposed to while the teachers were trying to teach for the AP exam? Isn't it based on what's going on in the school at that time in terms of the importance of the teaching going on? So a minor distraction, such as passing one note, could be more of an issue during AP testing time. Wouldn't you concede that?
It could be, but not to the point that the teacher would have to stop class and address the note, and then her being suspended on this one, what my opponent is going to say, disturbance. Passing a note happens. It happens throughout school.
But it seemed to be getting worse. People were getting more and more rowdy in the classes. Does a school have to wait until the point where it does become a major disturbance, or can they see a pattern is emerging and then take action? Do we have to wait until that disturbance happens
No.
to take action?
But there was no evidence that there would be a disturbance, because I believe you were referring to the second incident when Ms. Andrews is presenting her presentation to the class and the students were laughing. Ms. Andrews did not do anything wrong. She had simply done her presentation as asked.
I'll have to stop you there, because isn't it wrong for her to have been warned not to do it anymore, and she did it again anyway the next day?
She was not exactly warned. She was just spoken to by a teacher who then later called her a cross-dresser. Yes. Ms. Andrews did intend to convey a particularized message, which was likely to be understood by others, and she did not cause a material or substantial disruption. And for the foregoing reasons, this court should reverse the ruling of the circuit court. Thank you.